Alright everyone, it's your boy Dragon here, back with another video. Today we're going to be going over how to make your favorite gin and tonic using a nice lovely Dizinaro. No, I'm kidding. We're going to be talking about how to use your 50% off gems on older boxes and what is basically the boxes that you would probably want to invest your gems into now that we have a nice juicy sale. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. So currently right now we have everything up on sale for older boxes, 50% off gems, all the way up until Revolution begins. We're going to be going over each of the boxes one by one to basically give you a quick overview of whether it's a pull or skip. So I'm just gonna say right now, Ultimate Rising, some potential but risky. Sonic Bird is good for ritual summoning decks in the future potentially, but right now it's not in the meta. Sphere Karibo, always gonna be good, relevant in the meta, no matter what. However, this box has really bad URs, and by really bad I mean for Axe Raider. You know, I would say this is most likely a hard skip. You're better off just getting you one single Karibo by spending like $6-7 on like the bundle, but that's kind of up to you. Age of Discovery, easy skip. Don't even think about it. Neo Impact. If you're thinking about getting Mirwall, you're just better off getting one of from the special bundle. I mean, worst comes to worst, you could try to roll for Mirwall to get a single copy of, but honestly, Mirwall, easy skip. Don't even think about this box. Flame of Tyrant, easy skip. Nothing useful, nothing relevant that you would want right now. Valkyrie's Rage, some consideration for the Soul Exchange and the Divine Wrath, and potentially maybe even the Escape from Dark Dimension. However, I would say not worth it, only because Soul Exchange I can only ever see it being used in a Monarchs deck, only if they ever get the support for it. Divine Wrath is a pretty decent card, but we have like the Blue Eye Structure deck now with Ultimate Providence, which would be a 2 copy of, which is almost better than Divine Wrath, depending on the situation, so easy skip. Wonders of the Sky, the only card you would really need in here, Summon Skull. And that's only if you're playing Archfiend, okay? Outside of that, you would not need the Summon Skull. I would say, if anything, just use your ticket, one SR ticket to get your Summon Skull if you plan to play Archfiends. Chaotic Compliance, pretty easy skip. Honestly speaking, you could try to play like a Blackluster Soldier deck, but it's a very niche card to be going for, and that's like specifically one archetype. There is 7 Tools of Bandit, but there's an even better card, SR card, that basically makes this card useless at the moment, so I'll get to that in a second. Magic Drain, it's kind of like Divine Wrath, but it's specifically against spell cards, so realistically this is either a 1-for-1 or a 1-for-2, depending, but you're not going to be trying to go for this card, so skip again. Land of the Titans, easy skip. Potentially, maybe a Needlebug Nest, but why the heck would you ever try to get Needlebug Nest right now? I mean, there is some consideration for like, say, Lightsworn or like Witchcrafters, but I mean, you could try to throw some gems in here to try to get this one single copy of. I mean, wouldn't be wrong to get a copy of, so there's some potential to just try to get this one card, but it really is a waste of gems. Most likely a skip. Oof, Cursed Kingdom. Now this is a spicy one. Reason being, these 2 cards, Buster Blader is pretty much being played right now only because Blue Eyes is running rampant in the ladder. Is Blue Eyes a tier 1 deck? I wouldn't say so. It's a strong deck, but probably not tier 1, only because Blue Eyes bricks easily, and if you negate their normal summon, they're pretty doomed, unlike Noble Knights. Noble Knights has such strong recovery that it can't even compare to Blue Eyes. I will say though, if you want to make a Buster Blader deck, this is required, and potentially Dark Paladin, but outside of that, you really wouldn't want to go into the structure deck for or this structure box for like anything else. There's nothing here in this booster box that you would really want outside of like maybe Gozuki for like a zombie deck, a Shiranui deck, and potentially a Red Eyes Wyron for like a Red Eyes deck. You can get this from a structure deck, so it's a debatable skip, maybe pull. Dawn of Destiny, easy hard skip. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, you can get this from the Fire King structure deck. Tribute of the Doom is a worser Regeki Break or Karma Cut at the moment. However, there is flexibility with it being a spell, but you're better off having it as like a trap or quick play spell if possible. But since that's not the case, useless. There is some consideration for the Dark Hex Sealed Fusion, only because it can be used for summoning of like Dark Cavalry, DDD, but outside of that, kind of a skip. Pretty much a hard skip for me, honestly. Ooh. And then there's not this one, but Electric Overlord. The day they ever release enough frogs for this game to let us go into like frog loop, this card will be really good. But knowing Konami, they're probably not gonna like release jank stuff in here. So I don't think they're gonna ever make it so we can Treeborn frog loop to infinity and beyond. There is some consideration for Machine Peacekeeper for like your Master of Destiny Desperado Barrel Dragon deck. But to go into this box specifically to try to get like 2 Peacekeepers is really not worth. All the other URs are basically kind of useless at the point, so honestly, pretty easy skip. Echoes of Silence. Yeah, no, just skip. Generation X. Now this is the one that I went really hard into for 2 reasons. Well, technically there's a few cards in here that are really useful. Floodgate Trap Hole, King of Swamp. These 2 cards are, well, pretty solid in the sense that Floodgate, very useful staple, can't go wrong with it. King of the Swamp, very useful for fusion decks. It can pull a polymerization from your deck, or it can act as a substitute material for summoning. There are some other nice cards in here, like Fusion Recycling Plant, if you're really going to be going hard into fusion decks. It's a nice card to have, but not meta relevant at all. It's just nice to have. Outside of this, we also have your Bacon Saver, also really good to have a copy of a Bacon Saver. But outside of that though, nothing really else in this box particularly that I would be looking for specifically. Overall, I would say this is like a good box to be pulling on, at least to go through once until you get your Floodgate, because you could potentially also get a King of the Swamp, Bacon Saver, and some other nice little utility cards. So this one, safe pull. Servants of Kings. Almost a hard skip. Reason being this. Forbidden Chalice. Debatable. Lance is better. We also have System Down. Really good anti-tech card when machine decks are running rampant. But outside of that, Walla D, no longer that good. Back row destruction is pretty prevalent right now, so Wall of D is seeing less and less play, like Drowning Mirror Force and whatnot. Nowadays, instant destruction like Regeki Break, Release the Squad, Karma Cut, very prevalent in the game, so it's a tough one. It's a toughie. I would say almost a hard skip. There is some debate to whether or not you pull on this one or not, but I'll say hard skip. Oof, the most debated conversation, Cosmic Cyclone. Okay, this one is a toughie. Reason being is the only UR you're essentially looking for is Cosmic Cyclone, and maybe Into the Void if you want to play like an Exodia deck. And maybe Gladiator Beast Ondel, because now we have Rescue Rabbit. So that is a thing. And what else could be useful? Field Barrier for field spells. Outside of that though, there's really nothing else that you would really need. Neos Space is nice if you're going to be playing a Neos Fusion deck. It's nice to have a copy of, not really necessary or required to be honest. It's just something that's nice to have. Outside of that, this one is a really debatable 50-50. You could be trying to like pull for Cosmic Cyclone in order to save your UR Dream Ticket for that. But I will say it took me 125 packs to get a Cosmic Cyclone, so you've been warned. Oof, Blade of the Spirits, 6 samurai stuff. Realistically, this is easy hard skip. Nothing in here of relevance that you would need. Primal Burst. Pretty much a hard skip. I mean, there is some consideration to be getting Forbidden Dress, but honestly at the moment with Karma Cut running so rampant, it is tough. I will say it makes it so that your cards cannot be targeted or destroyed by other card effects, but it's very debatable card. Honestly speaking, this is basically like a hard pass, if not for like the Forbidden Dress, but realistically speaking, even then you're better off going with like freaking Lance, so basically a skip unless you really want to pull for like maybe a Lila. Oof, this one, easy hard skip. This one you can get through a structure deck. There is some consideration on saying how useful Snipe Hunter is potentially in the future, but with so much heavy discard like Karma Cut, Rikeki Break, Snipe Hunter's basically lost its relevance. Nowadays, it's not that good. We do have Defense Draw. Honestly speaking, this is a Cycle 1, which is not bad as an SR, but realistically speaking, this is... you're better off not running a card like this no more. Abyss Encounter. Oh baby, this one is easy hard skip. Unless you really want to make a Gishiki deck, but that's not even meta relevant right now. I mean, there's potential, that's not meta relevant. It's basically a hard skip unless you really want to build yourself in a Gishiki deck. Hatrunade. Honestly, hard skip for this box. You're better off using like your SR Dream Ticket to get your Hatrunade. It really isn't worth your gems to be sniping to snipe like one card. Everything else like a Dark Orb, this is essentially your Karma Cut. Pretty useless. Ooh, Valiant Souls, another debated one. Canadia. So Book of Moon got released. And Book of Moon is a slightly more versatile card than Canadia. But Canadia fills a different niche use, so there is that. All the other cards in this box is, it's a toughie. Only because Mass Change is good, but Mass Change can be gotten through the Hero Structure deck now. Fusion Reserve is a nice solid card to have if you're ever running anything Fusion, or if you're going to be trying to go for combos with Fusion decks. By using Fusion Reserve, this is a good way to search out a card from your deck. Mascara Anki is going to be useful for Mass Change because that's not given in a structure deck. But outside of that though, there's nothing else you would really want in here. Blast with the Chain is a pretty old card. But it is a fun card because you could use this with stuff like the new Gearfried that you get from the Ninja box, the Ninja booster pack box, and use it with that Gearfried, but this is a very specific like combo. It's a fun card, but nothing you would really pull for. Vision of Ice for your treacherous trap hole. It's essentially a hard skip. However, there are cards like Spellbook of Fate in here. If you want to build a Spellbook, you will need this, and I will say there is Mage Power, which is a good, solid, I guess, equip card, you could say, for climbing PvE situations, but outside of that, I would say this box is looking like pretty much a hard skip. I'd probably just use my SR ticket to get my Treacherous and call it a day. I will say Spellbook of Fate though, it is in here, so take it as you will. Crusaders. Oof, this one, honestly speaking, you could really just skip it. There's nothing in here that is useful. I mean, you're a Silent Swordsman, but who cares about that? Noble Knight, easy. Get that in the structure deck. Grandmarg, if this card is ever relevant, it's because they release Chaos. Not Chaos. It's because they release structure deck support for Monarchs. Because we have a lot of stuff, but we're just missing some core cards for it to be any good right now. Outside of that though, it's basically an easy skip. Don't even think about it too much. Clash of Wings. Honestly, nothing very useful in here. I mean, there is the Dyna Hero for hire, but realistically speaking, you're not going to be going into this box for anything. I will say, yeah, no, nothing that you would really want. Burning Nova, oof, tough one. This one you can get through the structure deck, so not that useful. Dust Tornado, you're better off going with Cosmic Cyclone nowadays. It's just a better card overall. Realistically speaking, there's nothing in here that you really want. Kunai with Jane, good old Joey card. Yeah, no, hard skip this box. Don't even think about it. Emperor Scarlet. Insector. I mean, if you really want to play an Insector deck, you could. But we don't have enough support for it right now, and realistically speaking, the stuff you could get, you just probably get it through grinding Weevil. Nothing in here. I will say, pulling the rug. This is a fun card. Pulling the rug is a fun card in the sense that there is a lot of cards that have effects that activate when they are summoned currently in the meta, but you're not going to go into this box and just get Pulling the Rug. Fun card, but tech card. Oof, baby, God Genesis. Now this one, there is definitely consideration of pulling only because the yours are really good. We have a Drowning Mere Force, a Galaxy Cyclone, which is nice, Sangan, which is also very versatile. It's a bit nerfed, but versatile. Elemental Hero Guy, if you ever want to play a hero deck. And some other goodies like Kwakimaro, if they ever, get less nerfed. I mean, there's also good Axe of Despair for a nice chunky equip spell. And then there's also a better version of Snowman Eater. I mean, not Snowman Eater, of Man Eater Bug. So, honestly, this box is a fun box to pull for, but I would say you're really only looking for Drowning Mere Force, Galaxy Cyclone, Sangan, and potentially maybe even a Elemental Hero Guy if you're playing heroes. But outside of that, nothing that you would want. Stardust Acceleration. Stardust is gonna fall off the meta. Targeted destruction that would destroy cards / on the field is getting less and less prevalent per se, only because negation and banishing is like flavor of the month right now. I will say Stardust still has its niche uses, but its 2500 attack base is kind of low and it can be gotten over pretty easily with a lot of things in the meta. So Stardust Dragon, yeah, hard to say. Silver Cry, potential one of, but very like, oof, like almost don't even bother having this card. It's nice to have, but you're really never going to be seeing it in a deck. You could play it as a one of tech card for Blue Eyes deck, but realistically speaking, probably not. I mean, you could target a one normal type dragon monster there, so there's some potential for, like, you could say heretics. Outside of that, probably skip. White Stone of Legend, debatable. You could try to get a 1-of Azure Eye, get in the structure deck, no point in this anymore. Anything else in here that would be useful? Not really, everything else is like pretty, yeah. Power of Bravery. Easy hard skip. Power Tool Dragon, not really relevant right now. I mean, it could see use eventually later if they ever release more support for like Geminis, and then they make like Gemini Supervise, Gemini Spark, but Gemini, and oh yeah, and Gigaplant with plants. But realistically speaking, not a really meta relevant deck right now. There is your Desynchro in here, which is very nice. It's a 1-of though, obviously, because of just how people were able to find loopholes with it. But realistically speaking, nothing that you would really need here. Blackwing Storm Rising. This one, if you guys want to make a Blackwing deck, I would say now's the time to like go hard. Now that this is on sale, trying to get your 3 triple Whirlwinds, honestly, is not that bad. I will say though, there is a bit of a downplay in the sense that Card of Consonance is in a structure deck, so pulling copies of these feels bad, but if you're free to play and you pull 2 copies of this and buy 1 structure deck, honestly, you got a Blue Eyes deck going on, so not too bad of a pull, I would say. Outside of that, Sakuretsu Armor, you're better off using Deep Prison. Vajrayana, structure deck, you will need a 1-of Blackwing Labora, but if you're on a budget, you might as well, if you're on a budget and you end up pulling 3, you can't be too unhappy with that, but you're aiming basically for triple Whirlwind for you to make your deck work. Honestly speaking, now's probably not a bad time to like get the core of your Blackwing deck sorted out. Secrets of the Ancients. Oof. Hard skip. I mean, Amadeus is a nice 5-star synchro that you could get. It's a generic 5-star synchro that's not bad, but you wouldn't be pulling in this box specifically looking for either Amadeus or even like Ancient Fairy Dragon. These are very like niche cards to be looking for. I would say easy hard skip. Revolution of the Beginning. Honestly, if you want to build into like Karakui, now's probably the time. But I will say they get nerfed pretty freaking hard, so they're almost nigh unplayable. Almost, but you can still play it. It's a fun deck type. And also freaking Shogun is in here, so your beret, you'll need it. I would say, honestly, if you want to build like Karakuri and you're okay with it in its nerf form, I'd say now's a good chance. Also, Miracle Fusion, nice card to have in a hero deck. Shrink, OG Battle Phase, quick play spell, not that relevant nowadays. Doom Caliber Knight, honestly, this card is a really solid normal summon turn with just how much effects going on in decks right now. This is a good card to have as like a tech card. Sleeper, really sleeper. Honestly, if I could, I would get 3 copies of it, but honestly speaking, it's hard for me to justify pulling into this box if I'm not trying to play Karakuri. But I will say, however, potential. Definitely potential for building a Karakuri deck and getting a Doom Caliber Knight and also Miracle Fusion. So honestly, this one's I think is a personal preference. Can't say anything wrong with this one. I'd say pull if you want to build Karakuri. Or if you want to get some like nice solid URs, I'd say this is the decent one. Miracle Fusion, Doom Caliber Knight, Karakuri, and if you want to play Fabled, use your card. And last but not least, Tornado of Phantoms. I'd probably pull on this one. Reason being Trap Stun. Trap Stun is a nice solid. It's a nice solid 7 tools of Bandit negation, because this is basically 7 tools. It negates all other trap card effects on the field this turn. I mean, obviously your opponent can chain link 2 on this, but realistically speaking, it's gonna be your opponent's gonna use a trap, and then you're gonna trap stun it to negate the trap they use. So it's essentially a 1-for-1. It's sort of like a pseudo Hey Trunade, but it is a trap, it is slower, and it can be chain link 2. So there is that. Also, Elemental Hero Great Tornado, it's a good card to have in an elemental hero deck. However, this card falls off pretty fast, pretty hard soon, and honestly speaking, heroes aren't in the meta right now, so realistically speaking, this is a nice card to have in your back pocket, but I don't think it's going to see any play anytime soon. Outside of that, that's basically it for this box. And that's basically it. So, honestly, with how everything is right now, you have your options. There aren't great options, but honestly speaking, whether you pull or not, now's the time to pull on those boxes. It's realistically a personal preference, I would say. I'd say if you want to build a Blackwing deck, a Karakui deck, now's the time to get into those boxes. I will say those decks aren't meta right now, but if you ever want to play those decks, or if it ever becomes meta relevant, now's a good time to get into it. Your staple cards like your Cosmic Cyclone, Canadia, Floodgate, the ones that I would say that are worth pulling in terms of those boxes would be the Floodgate Trap Hole one. There is some good cards in there. Cosmic Cyclone, honestly speaking, you're really better off just using your UR to get a Cosmic Cyclone, but even now, Cosmic Cyclone isn't really used in a lot of the meta decks right now, only because a lot of the meta decks don't typically use Cosmic Cyclone, only because their decks are so front-loaded with like their core engines that they don't have the room to fit it in. But outside of that, honestly speaking, get and pull whatever you want. I will say though, spend your gems accordingly. Gems are come far and few in between once you get to mid-game, late game. So don't stress too much about it. Yeah, pull whatever you want. Right now, there's a discount. This is just kind of my opinion on what I think you guys should be using your gems on. Try not to take it too seriously, but I will say there is potential. There's potential. Anyways, that's it for the video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now. Yes. もしかしてオラオラですか